Hey everyone, welcome back. For anyone who's new, my name is Marianne. I live here in Canada with my husband and kids, ages 5 and 6, and I make videos on simplifying motherhood and life through easy organization and decluttering. And today is the start of a brand new series that I'm starting that I'm super excited about. And the series is called 10 Things to Declutter. And I am going to go throughout the series, I'm going to do a video per room or per space in your house. So 10 things to declutter in like the bedroom, the kitchen, the bathroom. These videos are meant to give you, inspiration, ideas, things that you may have been like overlooking, or if you need some inspiration for ideas to kind of start the wheel. If you have a space that's overwhelming and you know there's clutter in there, but you can't quite pinpoint in your mind, these are going to give you some ideas of things that you could potentially let go of to give yourself like more space and a more functional and peaceful home. In today's video, our very first video of the series is the bathroom edition. I know bathrooms can be a huge struggle for a lot of people, especially in newer houses. I feel like there's a ton of storage in bathrooms. We end up keeping a ton of stuff that we don't necessarily use day to day, or maybe don't even need long term. So I want to inspire you today. I want to give you some ideas today of things that you might be holding on to that maybe you don't need to be. I want your bathroom to be easy to maintain, so it's super easy to clean and tidy every single day, and also so that whenever you feel like you want to escape in the bathroom for a bath, or if you're a new mom and you just want to cry in there, whatever phase of life you are in, I want you to have that space that you can go into and feel good all the time. So without further ado, here are 10 ideas to declutter from your bathroom. All right, number one, and this is probably like the easiest and the most obvious, is expired meds. I have to admit, I'm not one that is super picky about expiry dates, whether it's like in the kitchen or with meds. I am not like die hard about expiry dates. However, this is my take on expiry dates. Even if it still works or tastes effective, even if it works effectively and it still functions perfectly, if it's expired, especially over like a year, 6 months, are you actually using it? There's a good chance you're probably not using it and probably don't need it. Let's say, for example, you went through a phase where you suffered from really bad allergies, or anything related to pregnancy and postpartum, because those are very like specific phases in life where you might have gathered like a ton of like vitamins or medicine or whatever you needed during that phase of life. And then once that phase is over, you probably don't need it. And even if you do need it at some point in your life, it might not be for another year or 2 or 10 years. So we don't need to keep on to say like the X-Lax that you needed during postpartum can probably go, unless that's something that comes up regularly for you. Other little tidbits are medicine. We come across this a lot with clients, is medicine that's in like unlabeled containers. Like honestly, I have no idea what this is. I almost for sure guarantee my mother-in-law, Scott, got it from his mom. She always has like a ton of options for meds, and I bet it was like allergies last year. So I'm gonna leave this out and ask him, and if he doesn't know what it is, we are getting rid of it. But this is another common one. If you don't know what the medicine is, let it go, because no one's using it and it's probably not safe, and you have no idea what the expiry is, and it's probably not safe if you have no idea what it is. Another common one is like having doubles of things. So like you always maybe want to have like a Tylenol and an Advil in your house, but do you need like 3 Advil, even if none of them are expired? Will you, say before the expiry date, even that's if it's a year from now, are you going to use 3 full containers of Advil or Tylenol within that year? And maybe you will, and that's great. If not, maybe that's something you could pass on to someone else, pass on to a relative, a friend or family member who might need the extra Tylenol. As you can see, my bathroom, I am outside my bathroom right now. The acoustics in there is very weird. So I'm kind of just like in the hallway outside the bathroom. We have quite a bit of storage in our bathroom, but when the kids were really little, and even now, really, we want the medicine to be out of their reach. So we use behind this door, like sort of along this wall, there are a few shelves, and they're super narrow. So I just found these little bins that fit our space, and we made one for adult meds and one for kid meds. So how you organize and sort your meds is gonna be totally dependent on your family who lives there, how many people, whether you have like huge, maybe you take a ton of vitamins every day. So figure out a system that would work best for you. So, and maybe you need a medicine bin for each family member if you're dealing with like a chronic issue. But anyway, that's just to give you an idea of that's how we organize it. But number one, things to declutter: expired meds. Number two are hair accessories. So if you have long hair, or if someone in your family has long hair that you tie back and you have clips and scrunchies and hair elastics and 1,000 bows, I would definitely encourage you to go through that. So I use hair elastics. I use probably like the same 3 scrunchies all week, every week. However, my daughter Annie Rose is 5 and she loves, and she's always being gifted, like she has 2 grandmas who love shopping, and she's always being gifted little hair elastics and scrunchies, or she's getting them passed down from her cousins. We went through this bag maybe only like 2 or 3 weeks ago, just before school started, and we went through and we took all of them out, and she, who is Annie Rose, who's 5, was able to, I sorted them for her, and then she made some really quick decisions. She said, you know, like, I don't like the color. She didn't want any white elastics. She did not approve of white elastics for whatever reason. She did not like that look. I tried to talk her out of some like the green, lime green ones. She insisted that she wanted those for Halloween, so I let her make that decision. And everyone has a different system for how they store their like hair accessories. This is Annie Rose 5. We just kind of carry that around the house, or she just keeps it in her drawer like that. And then I have a few that I just throw into my drawer. It's nothing over the top, just super simple, easy, and easy to manage. And I also like that this bag kind of controls how much we can keep. So we know if this starts to get annoying to sort through, or we can't find anything in it, then it's probably it's time to do a little bit more declutter. Number 3 is makeup. So this is my makeup bag. That I've had since probably grade 10 or grade 11, and all of my makeup lives in there. I am not a huge makeup person. Even before I cared about how much I had, when I lived alone and I was single, I still probably had the same amount of makeup, maybe even less. However, if you have a ton of makeup and it's got to the point of overwhelm, this is such a good, satisfying category to do. We have done this for clients before and it feels so good. So again, sometimes certain makeups have expiry dates. So that's one way to decide what you keep and what you don't keep. Another thing is if you have, say, any duplicates, if you have 10 different types of foundation or cover up or whatever you use, and you really only use the same one every single morning for the last year, then let those other 9 go. There's a good chance you stopped using them or never started using them because you never liked them. So let them go. Another thing is brushes. I just have one simple brush that I use every single day. But if you have like a million brushes, if there's some that have been deformed or ones that you like never like the texture of, or if you have 6 that are all the same size, those would be a good category to potentially let some go. Another tricky part of makeup is often it costs a lot of money. So a lot of people struggle because they've spent a ton of money on these items. However, I will say from experience, keeping something you spent a lot of money on and that you aren't using is like a form of torture. It is like every single day, if you're looking at this item, you feel guilty and you feel embarrassed that you spent so much on it, but you actually hate it. Let it go. Why are you torturing yourself? You never have to look at that item again. It's like a daily reminder of a mistake you made. Like, who wants to do that to themselves every day? So in certain items, you have to cut your losses and just like let it go and start fresh. And remind yourself that's a great lesson for spending in the future. Number 4 is nail polish or anything like nail related. If you're super into nail polish, I love little nail polish in like a little turntable. Oh, it's so cute. Or any type of caddy, that kind of thing. I have very, very little nail polish. I rarely put it on. It's more just for Annie Rose once in a while, to be honest. However much you love it or don't love it, if anything is something like super empty or it's dried out, or it's a color that you like used once for Halloween but you're never going to use it again, or a color that reminds you of your ex-boyfriend or whatever, let it go and keep the ones that you love and make you feel amazing, and keep the ones that you will use. Number 5 is hair products. So when I say hair products, I mean like hairspray, conditioner, shampoo, any of those extra bottles, those samples that you took from that hotel in 2005. This is my very fancy no-name conditioner that I'm pretty sure I bought at the grocery store. But whether you love different hair products, and remember that even if you love hair products and you love different types and you have gorgeous hair and you love like coloring and styling it and dyeing it, you can still let go of, you can still declutter and still keep all your favorites. So don't feel like it's like this black and white, like you have to get rid of everything or you can never buy new stuff again. Not the case. Like keep the stuff you love, keep the stuff you use consistently, keep the stuff that maybe you haven't tried yet and you're like, I definitely want to try that. I'm going to put that on the counter and try it tonight. But if there's stuff in there that you know you like can't stand the smell of, or it just doesn't work for you, pass it on. And I would say definitely a lot of bathroom items, like if you are a female, a lot of these bathroom items you could pass on to a friend. I personally have friends that consistently bring me, especially when I worked in the office, I had friends that brought me, you know, makeup or hairspray they hated that they knew I'd probably use. And I did. Like, I'm not picky. And so just because something, a hair product maybe didn't work for you, doesn't mean it might not work for your sister or your mother or your cousin or whoever. So that might be a good way to get rid of it. Another tip for hair products, if they haven't been opened yet, is I know in our area we have a women's shelter that sometimes accepts unused or unopened bathroom products. So keep that in mind when you're letting things go too. Number 6 is super similar, and it's skin and body products. So when you're going through and digging through your piles of different types of soaps that you've been gifted or that you bought on a whim or went on a shopping spree and bought, or like were desperate to try, a foot scrub that you thought would be a great idea, or like I personally, we live in Canada and in this winter it gets super dry and everyone's skin gets super dry, and we've had kids, and obviously over the years our kids, they've had eczema. We've dealt with so many dry patches, so many little rashes and dry patches and all of that. And so we have over the years, I feel like, tried so many different creams and that kind of thing. So we still obviously have a few, we still keep it, we get dry every winter, but you know, but there was a point where we had maybe 12 different kinds. And so at that point I knew like we weren't using all that, we were never going to use it up, and we let some go. So any kind of like skin beauty products, even like perfume, if you body sprays, all that sort of stuff might go into this category. Number 7 is towels. So this would include hand towels and face towels. You may or may not keep these in your bathroom. This does vary, but I want to include it today. We technically keep all of ours in our linen closet, but our linen closet is right here. So it is super close to our bathroom, so that works amazing for us. But I think it's a really important category because I know cupboards and shelves can get like overwhelmed with towels. So first of all, I would pull everything out. It's like an easy, I feel like it's a relatively easy category to pull everything out. It's a nice opportunity to reset and refold everything, maybe wash things that you need to use. One of the things I find that's very common is we'll have a lot of clients where they have a lot of face cloths. You know how you buy a pack of towels, like hand towels, and they always come with face cloths, but I find that most families don't use face cloths as much as hand towels, or they don't go through them as quickly. So everyone ends up with like 20 different face cloths that they haven't touched or don't use or don't match their current set anymore. So that's like I find usually it's a super easy category to just like part with a few things. If you feel bad letting them go completely, or if they're too rough shape to actually donate or nobody else wants them, you could put these we sometimes put these into our rag bin in like our garage or basement, and Scott will use them for like something disgusting that they get thrown out for eventually. Another trick when you're decluttering is if you use a basket or bin, start with the ones at the bottom. Those, or if you have a shelf and there's maybe like, let's say you have a cupboard where there's maybe 20 towels and there's 3 at the bottom that never get used, they haven't been touched in months, they've kept in that exact spot, is probably because you don't need them, and maybe you have too many, you don't actually need those bottom 3. So it's like an easy, quick way to think, you know what, we have 12 towels, but there's only 2 people that live in this house, and the bottom 6 have not been touched in the last 2 years. Let's pull those out and pass those on. Number 8 is dental or oral care. So this could be toothbrushes, extra toothbrushes that you maybe will never use or you hated the type. Toothpastes, floss is a big one, mouthwash, anything in that category. One of the biggest things we find in people's houses is the bags that you get from the dentist with all the free items, like the mini toothpaste or the toothbrushes or the extra floss, all that stuff. We'll find them still right in the bag. So get rid of those bags, get rid of the packaging, pile all of your extra oral dental supplies in one spot and figure out, do you love this flavor of toothpaste? Are you going to use this much in the next 2 years? Do we need this much? Do we love all of these items? Do we actually realistically floss our teeth? If not, let it go. Stop beating yourself up over not flossing and let it go. Item or category number 2 are beauty tools, or like self-care tools, I guess. Anything that like I would say needs to be plugged in. To me, that would be a like flat iron and a straightener, a hair dryer, a curling iron. Maybe if you bought you did online shopping one night 6 years ago, you randomly bought a foot bath at midnight after too many glasses of wine, and you've only used it once since then, like that would be a great item to sell. That would be a great item to sell. Anything that you don't use, but that's taking up a ton of space, these, if they still work really well, these you can actually sometimes get some money for, so that might be worth looking into. The only thing we keep in our house is a straightener and a hair dryer. Again, like I'm not huge into hair. It's just like not important to me, not something I'm interested in. We also did have a curling iron, which we kept, and I always thought, we don't actually use this, but I think my mom just brought it over one time to use for the Annie Rose. And then I thought, one day, I kept keeping it and keeping it and keeping it. And then one day, Annie Rose said, "Can I curl my hair?" I said, "You know what? We have a curling iron. Let's do it. Like, let's use this thing." Plugged it in. It didn't even work. So if you're going to keep things, make sure they work before you decide to put them back into your bathroom. Okay, category number 10, the last category, are cleaning supplies. I find most people keep some cleaning products in their bathroom, whether it's the stuff they use just to clean their bathroom or they use their bathroom storage for like all of their cleaning products, because a lot of time that's like the one space in like an upper, if you have a 2-level house, sometimes that's just a good spot to keep everything. However, we only want to keep the cleaning products we actually use and love. I personally don't keep any cleaning products in our bathroom, but that is because we have an entire, again, because we have our linen closet right next door and we have a bigger area, enough space to keep the cleaning products in there. Also, when the kids were little, I wanted to keep them like out of their hands so they weren't putting their mouths on them or anything disgusting like that. So we still keep all of our cleaning stuff in our linen closet. But I do know it's super common, so I wanted to definitely include it as a category. Just like everything else, you don't have to get rid of everything. Keep the stuff that you love, you like the smell of, you feel good using it with your family, it works, and that you have used it in the last 6 months. If you have a cleaning product you haven't used in 6 months, unless it's Drano or something that you only use once in a while, there's probably a good chance that you don't need it and are not going to use it. That's it for today for our first video of this new series, which I'm super pumped about. I want these videos to be like reference videos you can watch more than once and you can use for inspiration or motivation when it's a time when you're about to go do a certain space. You go back, "Oh, Marianne had a video on that. I'm gonna go back and review it, and I'm gonna use that for different ideas and different tips as you're moving through those spaces." As always, I hope this gives you ideas and inspiration for your family and your home so you have a space that you absolutely adore to be in. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.